Hi, and welcome to my critical reflection on a learning and teaching episode in the form of a lesson plan and various feedbacks from my supervising teacher. I'll be delving into the different teaching strategies I utilize, the use of ICT within the classroom and lessons, as well as the diverse needs of learners in my class. This double period of TAS mixed material lessons will be taught to both my Year 8 TMC class as well as my Year 8 TME class. Being a mixed theory and practical lesson, most of my students tend to think the theory section is boring and that the TME class tends to have issues with staying on the task at hand and need to be constantly refocused. There is a diverse amount of learners within the two classes that need different strategies to engage them within the lesson, so introducing a small amount of practical where students get to finish off their wheels and axles on their dragsters provides a great break for the students from the theory work. This lesson takes place during week 7 of term 4, which means as the term is coming to an end, the students are starting to lose motivation, but ensuring I have developed a great hook being that the students get to race their dragsters next lesson. This will keep them interested and motivated to continue doing the Science of CO2 Dragsters work booklet and attaching their wheels and axles to their dragsters. By breaking their outcomes down into separate categories that relate to both students' theory work and their practical work, not only allows me to create smarter and more achievable success criteria and learning intentions for our students, but also helps the students identify what needs to be achieved. Our practical outcomes are plans and manages the production of design solutions, selects and safely applies a broad range of tools, materials and processes in the production of quality projects, and designs, communicates and evaluates innovative ideas and creative solutions to authentic problems or opportunities. While our theory outcomes are explain how force, motion and energy are used in engineering systems and the practice of responsible and capable ICT use, specifically centered around students' Google Classroom page and their BYO device. Throughout my lesson, I ensured to include a variety of educational theories and strategies to engage the students. Starting with behaviorism theory, it allows me to have a teacher-centered discussion with the students first and explain their required responses for each task. This works great with the theory work that I created as it tells the students what specific guidelines they need to work to complete their work. The humanism theory was used by letting each student attach their own axles and wheels and work well within the classroom environment as students learnt collaboration skills and related new knowledge they are learning about the dragsters back to the previous existing knowledge they had learnt. Including both diversity and planning allowed me to plan for a variety of learners in my classroom and create learning outcomes and success criteria which suited all learners. Planning worked extremely well for both classes as it allows me to introduce lessons and the students knew exactly what was expected of them no matter their learning level. As you can see from the feedback sheet my supervising teacher provided for me, it gave me a lot of useful feedback I could take into consideration in planning for my next lessons. There was a lot of positive feedback which showed I'm definitely doing the correct things within the classroom, but still have room for improvement, which is great. Adam, my supervising teacher, mentioned things like, the lesson with 8TME during period 1, I did not do an example of the formulas with them on the board to explain it, which I then changed during my second lesson with my other class. Taking only a few students into Rob 33 at a time for the practical component was a great idea. Keeping students focused and ensuring to jump on those students who had a change in their work ethic worked great. Great to see all the cars complete and ready to race for the next lesson. Calling out clearly to all of the students to see if there were any cars that still needed to be finished before the end of lesson, and periodically checking how much the students had done throughout the entire lesson. Fortunately enough for me, because I was presenting the lesson again for my second Year 8 class, it gave me a chance to take on my supervising teacher's feedback and change or add a few things into the lesson for my next Year 8 class. Letting students load up the work on Google Classroom and then do an example with them on the whiteboard for the first question and formula, and then checking to see if the students understood and did it again a second time with different numbers if there were still a few unsure. Once a student asks about a new concept, I ask all students to stop work and ask them to refocus on me, then explaining the new concept on the board and checking in with students for understanding each step I was taking. Bailey, one of our special education students, could not be refocused and continued leaving the classroom, but I ensured to bring him back in each time as he couldn't just be walking around the school. The debriefing at the end of the lesson and explaining how the races were going to happen next lesson worked well, and this debrief gave me an opportunity to ask students if they had thought they met their success criteria and learning intentions today. As a pre-service teacher, I'm still learning and I feel like this feedback from my supervising teacher has given me and provided me with such a great and important opportunity to grow and improve my teaching skills. I've been able to achieve and meet a variety of teaching standards and trial different teaching strategies and theories throughout. Overall, I am very pleased with this experience and I'm excited to get my final placement to explore the teaching world even further. Here is my reference list, which includes references I used throughout my placement to create lesson plans and learn more about student diversity and what strategies could be used to promote this. This has been my critical reflection on a learning and teaching episode in the form of a lesson plan and supervising teacher feedback. I hope you've enjoyed it.